Now, I would first like to ask you about your experience with Chanticleer. Maybe you want to, for those folks who are not familiar with Chanticleer, why don't you define who they are?
It's a group of 12 men. It's a full-time paying job. Matter of fact, when I sang with the group in 1990, it was the only choral group that was full-time and paid. So 12 men that sing from soprano to bass. They're known for their variety of styles and music, from Gregorian chant to jazz, and they tour all around the world performing.
How long were you with them?
I was with them for 1 year, and it was the musical highlight of my life as far as making beautiful music.
Making beautiful music. And let me just ask, is it difficult to get into that group?
There's quite an extensive audition for the group because they try to blend the voices very carefully. And also all of the men are trained singers and soloistic voices.
Okay. And what do you think were the qualities that enabled you to get to be part of that group?
My voice is clear, and I had a lot of choral experience, and I paid a lot of attention to detail. And in Chanticleer, you rehearse 5-6 hours a day for 6 days before you go on tour. So I had a resilient voice and a clear voice and was musically trained.
A clear voice, is that important in singing?
When you're blending voices, yes. If you're a soloist, you can have more personality, more uniqueness of color. But when you're singing in an ensemble, you want to have a voice that will blend with other voices.
I think you said you practiced 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. But what was the duration of time of practicing before you went out on the road?
It usually took us about 3 weeks to put together a concert. And we sang over 100 concerts that year, traveling around America. We did a tour of Europe that year as well.
And before we go any further, what was the most exciting 2 cities in Europe that you went to?
Well, we focused on Holland and Belgium. So I particularly liked Amsterdam.
But you didn't go to Italy.
No.
And so
in subsequent years, they've gone to Japan, Australia, all over the continent in Europe.
All right. We're going to come back to Italy later, but I would like to ask you something that I've always wondered about. Frank Sinatra was one of the greatest singers the world has ever known in a certain genre. What was it about his voice that enabled him to be so successful?
Well, partly I can't answer that question because his personality, his body type created this sound that people loved. But he was part of a generation of very natural and easy singers like Perry Como, Bing Crosby, Rosemary Clooney. And they all sang in a period where there was beautiful melodies, Broadway musicals, easy pop songs, and he just had a beautiful style of nice breathing, beautiful tone production, just very pleasant to listen to.
So Frank Sinatra's success, in part, was his personality and some other things, but also I heard breathing.
Right.
And did you say tone?
Well, he came, learning in the 30s and the 40s, singing in the 50s. He was part of a tradition in singing in America that really understood technique. I think much more than vocal technique, much more than a lot of the singers in today's field.
Okay. When I listened to Frank Sinatra, I could not see the technique. Maybe you would be kind to share with us some insights into technique that might help all of us. What might be one of the most important techniques we should master if we want to sing better?
Well, when I have students come to the college, the first thing I want them to do is just put it out there, go for it. So you could say that's like a technique, less technique. without technique. It's just a matter of being willing to experiment, to play, and to go for it. So you get some energy in your sound. But then it all starts with getting your body relaxed. So I teach alignment. I used to teach yoga. So I've had a lot of training in alignment or balance. So it starts with alignment. So right now I'm not sitting like this. I'm sitting with length in my neck. So if I sang a note, but if I create length in my neck, it changes the sound.
Oh, really?
So, so posture and then breathing and relaxation, that's where it all starts.
Posture, relaxation, and breathing.
And then it's always hard to get students to open their mouth. So a lot of people sing like ventriloquists. I like that, instead of I like that, opening the mouth. Matter of fact, that's what you're learning, aren't you?
That is correct, and I must make a disclosure. I found you because I signed up for your class and I'm taking voice lessons with you. And the way I found you is 2 of your other students, clients, whatever, told me about you and told me what a wonderful experience it is to work with you.
Oh, thank you.
And that motivated me to join your class.
Right.
Breathing, posture, relaxation. That'll take us quite a ways, huh?
Yeah, and then lots of repetition. So when I teach a class, we do lots of group singing, either all the men or all the women or all, as a group. And sometimes I'm correcting the group. So lots of repetition, because the best way to learn how to sing is to sing, because singing teaches you how to sing.
Sure. A little while ago, you said in the beginning, you have every student just let it go out there. Yeah. And that's one to get them started, I guess. And are you observing the qualities or attributes of what's coming out? And then are you working on these different problems or opportunities with these students?
Well, in the beginning, often I'm working on just opening the mouth and encouraging energy. So sometimes I choose songs that do that. For example, we're doing a spiritual. Every time I feel the spirit. So I try to get people to be animated and open. So every time I feel the spirit moving in my heart, I will